Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Connor Reynolds, and this is the Nerdic Gods podcast, episode 230. Joining me as always, Daniel. Never really
What's up, gamers?
cares about him, though. He's joining us today. Welcome back, Andrew.
Thanks for having me back. I always have fun, so thanks.
Andrew, how do you say your last name? I'm going to butcher it if I just try.
So, I always tell students, it's phonetically, it's O, and then rose, like the flower, and then co, like company. So, O, rose, co.
Roscoe. Okay, hell yeah.
Perfect.
Got a nice ring to it.
Thank
Great
you.
last name.
Love it.
Thank you. Thank you. I have like my family, not in this room, but I have like the coat of arms, and like it tells like the story of like the first Orozcos, like where they came from in Spain. So,
That's cool.
Oh,
cool.
fuck yeah.
Yeah,
You got
thanks.
your whole family tree?
Not the
I
tree.
got a little Showington. You can keep going with your family.
Oh, okay. I thought not. I thought he was gonna take out the history of the.
I'm
Navajo
actually a
clan.
Roscoe.
I would. Actually, first cousins. Crazy.
Connor, Connor, what's your last? I don't even. Oh, Knowles, right?
Knowles,
So
yeah. Yeah.
What is that? What is that from?
Well, I'm Irish, so I think it's somewhere in Irish. But I like to tell everyone I'm Beyonce's cousin. They don't typically believe me, but it's just normally it's a great icebreaker. Love it.
You're like, oh, like Beyonce knows, or yeah,
Yeah, she's my cousin. That's why I tell everyone. I do a whole bullshit thing. I got Uncle Louis. He's half black. Right about it.
Yeah, I'm. Mine's 100% Italian.
Yeah, no one could tell. Never.
Yeah.
I always think of ravioli, and like I'm not making fun of you, but I just my head always pops to like
Everyone
ravioli.
I am making fun of you. It sounds like a pasta, and a damn good pasta. Honestly, like I would eat the shit out of Navaroli.
You got
There. So at 4th of July, there was like some artists like they called it like a block party, so they closed like downtown and stuff. And there was like some local artist tents and stuff. And this like lady, she had like some nerdy stuff, so I got these little like canvas drawings of Pokemon. So I got Pikachu.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of hard to tell the color with my lights. If this is purple.
I thought that was like a folder or something.
Not quite fat
No.
Pikachu, but like losing weight Pikachu. Not as skinny as you see him nowadays.
Those are hand drawn?
These are they're probably traced or something, but they're definitely hand. These are canvases.
Okay.
Like you could see like on the back that's her signature. But yeah, I didn't. There was no. She didn't have a Bulbasaur. I wanted to get all the starters, but
old school Squirtle,
yeah.
That's sick.
Yeah.
You gonna hang those?
I would like to. I don't really know where though.
It feels weird without
little corner behind
Bulbasaur.
you.
It does feel weird with it. Well, I don't know if I'm gonna keep this set up like this. So
Oh, okay.
I still kind of want to put my desk in the corner. I can't really figure that out though.
I would have got Diglett.
She didn't have that many. The only other one she had
Damn,
was a
Diglett.
Meowth and a Jigglypuff.
Odd choice. No Bulbasaur.
The Meowth was cool because it had like a claw pose. It was a pretty cool pose.
Ma'am, can I get the garbage bag Pokemon, please?
Trubbish.
That's his name.
Or Garbodor. Yeah.
Garbodor, yeah. Garbodor's the bigger one.
They just really ran out of ideas, huh? Suppose when you make like 800.
There's an ice cream cone. Vanillite.
Dude, they got to be struggling with the next game right now.
The ice cream cone was done by I think it was designed by like an American dude who was working over there. I always, you know what, Connor, I'm gonna just to defend Pokemon for a real quick second.
Please.
One doesn't have that many original ideas either. I mean, you have just Voltorb was just a ball, just a Pokeball. You have the freaking eggs execute like they were never really that creative to begin with. Like they had Muck is just a pile of sludge. That's no better than Rubbish or Garbodor.
No, you're entirely right. Which I mean, that's amazing that they keep going now. It's just amazing. Like, what are they going to be at 1,000 when the next gen comes out? They're already at 1,000. Jesus Christ! All right. I mean, I don't know. At what point do you just stop? Like, because like they're already at the dishwasher and the microwave. What more can they possibly make? What are we doing now?
Oh, that's right. They do have
I remember the dishwasher in the microwave.
It's
Rotom. Yeah, Rotom's different forms.
Yeah. And it can evolve into like other appliances or whatever.
You have to like take the Pokemon and like put it next or like touch it with the thing, and then that's what it becomes. That's how you do it.
Have they set one of those games in America yet? There was Hawaii, right?
That was Sun and
You,
Moon.
That was Sun and Moon. Okay.
Unova, or is it Unova and Gen 5 is based off New York City.
Is it? Oh, okay. See, I didn't know that.
Yeah, the two big bridges I think are based. It's based off of. Yeah. I'm pretty sure Unova is based off New York City. So yeah, Gen 5.
Give me a Florida one. It's just dirty people and the grossest looking Pokemon.
What if GTA has a Pokemon game in it?
Ooh, that'd be cool. They take a page out of the like a dragon
Yakuza?
route. Yeah. That'd be fucking dope.
You get
Yeah.
the Joker or whatever his name was. What's that guy's name?
Florida Joker.
Florida Joker.
Who we're still trying to get on the show, by the way. Florida Joker, if you're listening,
Yeah.
you can come on
He's a
anytime.
legendary Pokemon.
My cousin was playing like a dragon recently. He's like, telling me how obsessed he is with that Sujimon, whatever the side
It's
stuff.
very addicting. Very addicting.
It's awesome.
Yeah, Sujibot was the shit. Man, I can't believe that game came out
It
this
has a
year.
better story than some video games do.
Really?
Yeah.
It might be better than the main game story, honestly.
I don't know about that.
I don't know if it speaks poorly of the story or it speaks highly of the sub game.
Just highly of the sub game. Loved
Okay.
it. Loved it. I don't know what's better, that sub game or fucking what was it called in Rebirth? Blood Queen?
Queen's Blood.
Queen's Blood. That was it. Blood Queen. I can't even remember now. It's been
I
too
like
long.
Sujimon, but I don't know. Queen's Blood's great too.
Fun times, and little mini games there. Guys, this has been another busy week in the world of video games. We actually have news this week. It's incredible. Me and Danielle have just been bullshitting the last like 2 weeks and doing random shit. What did we do last week? We did like we did a 2024 game preview.
The second half of the year.
Yeah, I think the week before that we just went over a fantasy critic because the news has been absolutely dead. But we got a good amount of news this week. Let's get into it. First up, then, Xbox is making some changes to Xbox Game Pass. Most notably, all tiers of Game Pass will be getting a slight price increase, and Game Pass core members will no longer be able to access first-party games on day one. That's the major takeaways here. Obviously, there's like more changes here. There's a whole fucking slew of other shit going on there. I keep seeing the meme with the Charlie from Always Sunny in Philadelphia trying to explain what's going on with Game Pass exactly right now. Basically, I think the most notable changes are the price increase and then first party games getting taken away from Game Pass core members. Guys, I know Daniel and me have been talking about this for a while. I think we've been expecting this for a long time now, but here it is finally. Only $2 price increase, so I don't think it's too bad right now. If you're a Game Pass Ultimate member, I think the more concerning thing would be if you are just a core member and getting something taken away from you. But I want to know what you guys think. Whoever wants to kick us off, Andrew, Daniel.
Yeah, I saw there's people on Twitter trying to break it down, trying to explain what's included, what's not included in each one, and frankly, I kind of got confused because I keep when I used to have Game Pass, I just got the one that was Xbox and PC combined. Even though I don't have Xbox, I just wanted the full range of everything, the Ultimate or whatever it was, and so that's the one I paid for every month. But there's like five. I want to say there's like 5 different tiers now or something like that now. Like they broke it down to 5, I think it is. And
That's
I
a
saw people
lot.
I saw people going back and forth trying to explain like what was missing from each one, and it having the cheapest one without the first party is just very weird because like for so long Xbox has harped about like day one, you know, and now like there is no day that. Well, I mean, there's still day one, but now there's an option without day one, and it's just kind of like, well, like something had to give, right? Something had to give eventually. They've been kind of on the ropes for a while, not doing so well, so to speak, and so it seems like they had to kind of. And then just with inflation lately, I mean, those prices were set in what like 4 years ago, maybe. People were kind of doing better 4 years ago. We've had we've been like in a 3-year row kind of recession, so to speak. Not actual recession, but people are calling it that because inflation. I remember 4 years ago, I could go into the grocery store and buy everything I needed for under $100. Like that's no longer the case. So something had to give eventually, right? It's kind of like when Sony did the same thing with where they raised the price of the PS5 in Europe and Asia. That was like 40 or something dollars equivalent over there. So everything just is ramping up in inflation. You see the fast food places doing their little $5 meals, and it's like barely anything because they know people aren't really willing to put out for luxuries as much. So yeah, we knew this was going to happen at some point soon. I think dividing into 5 different tiers is kind of confusing. I wish they would have just done 3, kept it at 3, and just like found like a middle ground. But yeah, I think Connor, you're right. $2 a month. That's like this bottle of water right here. It's not even a big deal. So, but if you're one of those people who pays annually, then that's where you're gonna see kind of those bigger numbers, right? You're gonna set off more alarms in your head. So, yeah, but yeah, having a tier with no day one really kind of just devalues it. And it's like, well, that was always the main thing of having Game Pass. Really, at least for me, it was on PC. So yeah, I guess that's gonna be for the casuals. Maybe that's the tier you get if you're a parent, you have a 7, 8 year old kid. They don't know what they're playing. Just get them something to play, give them Game Pass, and let them download and play games to their heart's content. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah, it's a little weird now because I mean you need that tier they got rid of Xbox Live Gold, so you need that tier just to play online now. And I mean obviously you need to pay for online for Nintendo and PlayStation as well. But and we should probably have a conversation, or they should have a conversation about just getting rid of all that, all 3 of those companies at some point. Online should really just be free nowadays, considering it is on PC and all that stuff. But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't think the price increase is that bad. Like I think me and Daniel were talking about it not that long ago. $18. I pretty much consider that $20 already, anyways. So, like I'm just like, oh, $2, whatever. So that's not a big deal. And then yeah, taking away the day one games for just the core members. Yeah, that's kind of shitty, but I don't know. I guess it really just depends who you are. Are you really looking forward to those games? If you are, then yeah, maybe you do want to go out and buy Game Pass Ultimate for the whole 20, which would just be another 10. If not, then you probably don't care anyways. If you're just one of those guys that just wants to play, your NBA, your Madden, your Call of Duty, and you're just one of those guys, then you're just going to need the core Game Pass anyways, and you're probably not even going to really notice. And what might entice you to go to Ultimate now is Call of Duty being on there, and I think that's probably the major reason why we're getting the price increase anyways, is the Call of Duty thing. And I know Xbox said during the whole acquisition phase that they weren't going to raise price on Game Pass after acquiring Activision Blizzard, but I mean clearly at some point they were gonna anyways.
Yeah, the economy can't hold with that.
Yeah.
They probably intended to not raise it, but everything else is going up, and there's just no way it's not.
Yeah.
Especially with just the influx of content, like they're getting a lot, and they're going to put a lot in there at some point, and like there's just no way it will remain low. I mean, 20 is still not that bad for what you get, especially if you're using it. But you have to really be using it. Like, you can't really like, oh, I'm gonna pay $20 and play one game. Like,
Yeah.
because then you're gonna pay $20 every month. Like, you could have just bought that game if you're just only gonna, you know, play that one game.
Yeah. They really have to make it worth your while, because what I think I saw it's $240 a year now altogether if you're gonna pay month after month, which is more expensive than 3 $70 games would be. So if Xbox is putting out 3 first party games that you're interested in that year, or 4 rather, right? Then it's definitely worth it. But if you're not interested in the Xbox first party side, you really just gotta ask yourself, how interested are you in the upcoming slate?
It definitely makes me want, just with all the confusion around the tiers and like you just said, like you would have to have at least 4 first party Xbox games a year you would care about. I'm like,
Full price ones too, right? Because
yeah,
it's like, they just had a Hellblade, which was I think a $50 game, $40 maybe. So it really depends on all that too.
Like a lot of these subscription like plans now, because I find myself now because I do pay for the PlayStation one, the not the highest one, the second highest one. And it definitely makes me like, I don't really when I have time to play games, I'm really just playing the games I actually bought. I don't really go like perusing through the library looking for something. I definitely feel like now I'm kind of just going to go back to how I used to just buy the games just a la carte, really, because there's something I really want to play. I'm just want to buy it and just own it forever. Like I was big into Starfield last year, and now I don't even have access to it because I canceled my Game Pass. So I'm like, man, I kind of want to play Starfield. Like, I really want to pay just for the month. Like, You know what I mean? Like I feel like maybe I should have just bought that game straight out and just have it on Steam or whatever. So like I feel like I'm being pushed now to the point where like I think I'm just done with subscriptions. Other than for just maintaining like online play, I'm kind of just being pushed to the fringes a little bit. I'm like I think I'm just gonna go back to just buying my games like individually.
Yeah. Yeah, other note, like I think this year is crucial. This next year, so next 18 months, I'll say, so through 2026 is very crucial for Xbox because it will be their best slate they've had in probably ever. You know, Call of Duty's, we'll get two in that time frame. Doom, Fable, uh, I'm forgetting a shit ton, right? So there's a whole slate of first party games that are coming through, and good ones are what we're expecting to be good. And if they don't see a significant increase in subscriptions, I think they're really going to start questioning why we're doing this on Game Pass, because it's certainly a cost sink. Matt Piscatella put out a bunch of numbers earlier this week. The subscription services are not growing in the gaming space. Not really. They've grown like 5% in the past like 4 years, and that's all subscription services. So it doesn't seem like it's the route that gamers are necessarily heading, but we still have to see. I don't know. I'm really curious to see with Xbox throwing out this awesome slate of games. Does Game Pass get a significant increase in subscribers? I just wonder, does this whole first party thing go away by if we're in at the end of 2026, at the end of 2025? Does it go away at some point? I think that's a legitimate question they're asking themselves. This has got to be like the final push, I think, for like, all right, if Game Pass is gonna work, it's got to be now.
There's a lot of people out there saying that maybe not a lot of people. I've heard Colin on Last Stand say this that maybe Xbox's future should just be as a publisher and just maybe just do things that way and not have necessarily exist in the space as like because everybody wants that golden goose, right? Because subscription's big. They're freaking trying to put it in cars now to access like your like seat warmer or whatever. Like who was it? Which brand? Who was it? It wasn't Tesla. It was one of those big manufacturers that wanted to do like subscription services for your car, and it's like everybody just wants a safe, repeatable, passive like income for
That
all their
monthly
things.
income, right?
Yeah, you want that thing you can count on forever that doesn't really require active, work. And I mean, I think people are a little more. They're not as adverse to it with like. I saw someone call it the Spotify model. Someone called it the Spotify model on Twitter. X. I'm sorry, X. And I saw it was I forgot who it was. It was someone I can't remember their names, but it was like kind of like video game pundits going back and forth talking about like how the devaluation of video games through these like models and stuff. How people are so accustomed now to like not really paying for games that they want because it's going to come to this it's going to come to the service and come to the service. And I'm that way too now as a consumer. I'm that way too now, and I'm starting to finally realize not the dangers, that's a little dramatic, but the repercussions of getting like comfortable with that model where like waiting for this to come to Game Pass, waiting for it to come to PlayStation's equivalent, the game catalog. And it's just it's really they have to scramble to make these different tiers because they have to try to get every single demographic of who's the big spenders, the okay spenders, and then like the cheap spenders. And it's like I'm sure I think Dan mentioned this too. It's just not really sustainable, and it's something we've heard for a while now. And Connor, I think you're right. I think like we're gonna find out very soon, like you said, within the next year and a half, that we're gonna see exactly what once they do their quarterly projections or the quarterly earnings and all that. We're gonna find out just uh how bad or how good it turns out for them. And it's probably I think going to get sunset. But then if that what's going to happen to like all the people who have like their who didn't invest in their digital libraries, who didn't invest in their physical libraries, are kind of be just left out to hang. Sucks.
I do want to throw in there. I wouldn't blame subscriptions being the only thing to devalue a lot of games. I would say the biggest thing that devalues games is free to play and mobile. Subscriptions is just the newest thing to devalue the cost of your games. But
I think that's different though, because I feel like people who like
is it? I mean, the 10-year-old, is he gonna want to buy a $70 game when you could just go play any free game?
Okay, I see what you mean. I'm thinking of more like us kind of like the more core game. Okay, yeah. In that case,
I mean,
yeah.
it's the same thing though. You're gonna have somebody that really wants to pay for $70 for Call of Duty when they could pay Apex, Warzone, for free. Like, I don't know. That also not just as much devaluing
No, I
Yeah,
think if anything, it's
subscription service?
you're entirely right. Like it's probably more. Like there are kids that grew up just on Fortnite, and they're like, oh, they people want us to pay for other games. No, it's I'll
Yeah.
just play Fortnite constantly. It's
well, there
there's
is Call of Duty Mobile, right? That's already
yeah, that
a
too.
free to play Call of Duty.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Activision's playing all sides.
I mean,
Yeah.
free to play has raised a whole generation of kids now, where they're like, I don't know if I'm paying for games,
I
and
spent the last 2 weeks
that's not
playing
healthy.
mostly a free to play game, so
Yeah. I mean, it just seems like as gamers become, it seems like there's more and more people playing games out there, but the people like us, console gamers that play a wide variety of many games, it seems like we're more and more niche. I don't think we're necessarily like there's less of us now, but we're not growing. It's console gamers are not growing. Like the hardcore playing a variety of games isn't growing,
what was
which
his
is a
name?
problem.
Said that right. I forget his name. The former PlayStation guy. Now
Something like it.
there you go. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, he said this years ago. It's just that there's a market gap there, and yeah, I don't know. It's definitely a problem for these guys. You can't expect infinite growth here anymore, or you never really could. But yeah, and then COVID too threw everything off, right? I mean, we've talked about this for years as well. There was a huge bump, there's a huge rise in gaming during COVID, but then that didn't stick around as much. I'm sure a certain amount of people did stick around, but those numbers did not stick. That high did not stick. And it seems like a lot of these companies expected it to.
Yeah, COVID was an anomaly a lot of ways. That's something that happens like once every 100 years or something. It
Right.
was like the perfect storm of people just being shut-ins for a whole year and a half.
Yeah, one of the only companies that really found any stickiness was probably Nintendo.
Yeah, probably.
Animal Crossing, yeah. Yeah.
Just, I mean, that's the obvious one, but I would say all their stuff. I mean, if you look how any of their first party stuff sells, it's like, man, yeah, people are just buying their first party stuff left and right.
Okay, cool. Anything else on the whole Xbox situation, guys? You guys still subscribing to Game Pass when new games come out? Like, I'm not subscribed right now, but like when Avowed and Indie come out, like, yeah, I'm sure shit subscribing for that. As long as they keep offering the deal for me, because it's still ultimately cheaper for me. I just cancel it when I'm done playing the game, and it's like I know that's bad for Xbox and that's bad for gaming as a whole. But like, you're gonna offer it to me, I'm gonna take it. I gotta look out for me.
I needed to learn a little bit more about Avowed. If it's because it's Bethesda or no, Obsidian. I mean, if it's anything like their other kind of RPGs, the kind where I'm going to keep going back to it like over and over, I might just outright buy it
Mm.
instead. Assuming that's going to be on, probably will be on Steam. I imagine. But yeah, if it's like that kind of game, I probably would just outright buy it. So I don't have to about maintaining my Game Pass. Game Pass is much more for like one and done games for me, like shorter games and stuff like that. So maybe I doubt it. I don't know. F.
Um, for me, I probably have to cross that bridge when we'll get there. Like my game time has been pretty limited,
Right.
so um, I haven't really been using Game Pass that much over really past year, maybe. Like I still have it, and like I'll kind of pop into something every now and then, but like I haven't really been using it too much. I think Starfield was really the last thing. I think.
Yeah.
Hellblade.
Oh, Hellblade, yeah, Hellblade. I guess that was really the only other thing
Mm.
this year that I played. Yeah, I can't think of another one.
I'm trying to think.
Well,
There's like an
I
indie
did
on.
use it for Pal World like for about a month.
Yeah, I didn't check out Power World.
And that was it.
So like I'm not really even using it too much right now. So it's probably be something I'll get if I need it or like want to play something online. Um, yeah, it's definitely like a game by game basis. Probably just see how I feel at the time. But like I have so much that I haven't played yet.
Mhm.
It's like I want to get to those.
Cool.
So I don't know. We'll see.
Okay, cool. Hey, Neon White just came to Game Pass today, though, people. So, yeah, go get yourself some Neon White.
Yeah.
Next up,
Play
then,
it.
move on to some PlayStation news. Sony Ben has reconfirmed that they are making a new IP and not Days Gone 2. Sony Ben's community manager restated this after the previous studio head asked why Ghost of Tsushima is getting a sequel and not Days Gone when Days Gone sold more copies and they still got rejected by PlayStation for Days Gone 2. So there's a whole I can't even say the word now. There was a whole controversy. There you go. Thank you. There was a whole controversy on Twitter. The previous studio head, I forget his name, John something, over at there you go, thank you. He was saying that it's very odd to him that Ghost of Tsushima seems to be getting a sequel. I guess he just straight up confirmed that because PlayStation sure shit hasn't. That Ghost of Tsushima is getting a sequel and Days Gone wasn't, even though Days Gone has sold more copies. Which I don't. Is that even true? I guess I gotta look.
I think Days Gone is at like 11.
Is it? Wow.
I
Okay.
think
Good for Days Gone.
Ghost is at like 8 or 9.
Okay.
Million?
So yeah, he was simply asking on Twitter or something like that why isn't Days Gone 2 getting a sequel here? And that started a whole thing, and then people started speculating about Days Gone 2, and then the community manager at Sony Ben felt the need to come out and restate that they were making a new IP. So yeah, there's a whole thing going on here. I don't know what you guys think. Andrew, are you a Days Gone fan? Did you play this game?
I did play Days Gone. I finished it. I thought it was all right. It's not. It's definitely, and I think Dan and see me talk about this before. It's a really great 7 out of 10 game. It's a really good 7 out of 10. I think he says 8, but semantics. It's all right. I do like Ghost of Tsushima a little bit more, but I mean I think that is a good question though. If like I mean at the end of the day these are businesses. Why would the game that sold more not get the sequel? And I'm sure there's a lot of backroom talking about a bunch of information about that somewhere of why that's not the case. But I don't think it's a wrong question to ask. It does seem kind of whiny though, coming from the former studio head, kind of, or the head, the writer. He was like I think he was like the main writer or the scenario writer for Days Gone, and then he left that and went to go do something with That's No Moon, or no he went to
I can't remember where he went either. Yeah,
Yeah.
he is at a new studio though.
He's doing that. Yeah, he's doing that new game with somebody else from there too. But anyways, it is a strange. It is a really strange circumstance. But this happens all the time, though. I mean, there's a lot of games that do well. They just get abandoned for whatever reason. And who knows? I mean, I think Ghost of Tsushima does have, even though it hasn't sold as well, which is funny because that game was released like twice, right? I think there was like a regular version, and then came out the PS5 version.
Yep.
It seems odd, but then also Days Gone did get that boost on PC, right? It was like one of the first Sony games on PC.
Yeah.
So I don't know, similar situations. But yeah, Ghost of Tsushima is the better game in my opinion. So
yeah, it's a good question to ask. Like I get he's probably just like, what the fuck, man? Like we put out Days Gone, sold this many copies. Who really cares about the critical reception, right? It's people liked it. So why aren't we getting a sequel? And I think really PlayStation probably made the decision not to make a sequel before the game even came out. I think that game took so long in development. If you remember, their last game was the Uncharted on PSP, which I think was like 2011. And then they didn't put out another game until 2019. So there was like an 8-year development time there for Days Gone. And I think during that process, you know what got very popular? The Last of Us. And sold a shit ton of copies and became PlayStation's main IP, or one of them at least. And that is another zombie genre. And I think PlayStation was already like, why the fuck are we making 2 zombie games here, you know? And I think I think they came to that conclusion before Days Gone even ever came out. And they were just like, you know what, let's just get this out the door. But no, we're not making a second one because we have The Last of Us now. And, I think John probably didn't like that decision very much. And I could see why, right? It's like you sell so many copies and you're probably going to get pissed off that you didn't get a sequel. They probably had a sequel planned out, and I don't know, maybe it would have been better too. I didn't like Days Gone very much personally, but I played like half of it and I was just like, okay, it's kind of just another generic open world game, and I was kind of sick of the zombies at the times too. So yeah, that'd be my guess if I had to think of one, but who really knows, who knows why PlayStation makes the decisions they do.
I mean, at the minimum, he definitely sounds bitter.
Yeah.
whatever happened.
That's a good point though, Con. I didn't think I completely forgot about that. It's like, why would you double down on the same kind of? I mean, they play very differently, but thematically, it's post-apocalyptic, zombie slash fungal clicker or whatever. It does seem kind of silly to double down. It's kind of like if you've ever played Pokemon, like you're not gonna have two Pokemon on your same team. That's kind of like
Right.
double dipping for no reason. So that makes sense. I didn't even consider that. I just kind of just thought like, well, maybe like it just maybe even though it did sell more than Ghosts, maybe it was projected to do better and it fell short. Maybe Ghosts had different like projections for what they were supposed to do with that. So that could also be another reason too. Just expectations on the internal side that just didn't maybe pan out.
Yeah. And I think one of the most legit complaints you can make about PlayStation is that their games are too similar already, and so you especially don't need to double up on zombie genre there, right? Daniel, anything else you want to add?
Yeah, the biggest thing of why they didn't do it is definitely the amount of time it took to make that game. Like that game, from what you're even looking at, like I think they had rebooted development of Days Gone at some point. So like even it being 8 years, like it probably wasn't. It was probably more like 4 or 5, whatever else they had kind of probably scrapped together after The Last of Us. It probably was maybe not exactly like The Last of Us, but had way too many similarities. So they're like, we got to scrap this and have a new direction. So like at the time when PlayStation put that out, like they were getting ready to have one of their best years ever in 2020. So they were like, yeah, let's try to get them to do something new and different. And I guess it ended up it's selling very well. Critically, was good but not great. Um, yeah, I think that the writing was just on the wall there for that. I think before it was even coming out.
Yep, right there with you. All right, continuing on then with PlayStation news. The Horizon TV series that was being made over at Netflix has been shelved. This decision is being made due to the showrunner Steve Blackman apparently being toxic to work with. And since these claims came out, Netflix has canceled multiple of his shows that he was supposed to showrun. No word yet if Sony and Netflix will continue to try to develop a Horizon TV show, though. Guys, here we go. No more Horizon TV show for now. It seems like this Steve guy's a dick. So they shelved multiple of his TV shows. I guess he was showrunning something else too. They really stretched this guy out, huh? Because I guess he's the showrunner of the Umbrella Academy, which I've never seen.
Mm-hmm.
But it's supposed to be pretty good. And so Netflix had him on for multiple projects, including the Horizon show, and now it's no more. Andrew,
yeah, it's kind of a blessing in disguise.
Daniel, go for it. Yeah, Daniel, how you feeling about this?
We're already getting too much Horizon, or we're about to. So I don't know. I think we need less of these TV adaptations and movie adaptations. So I'm fine with it.
Hold on there. Hold on, Ab. Hold on. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Did you watch Fallout or no?
I haven't yet.
Okay, Fallout is awesome.
Yeah, I want to watch it. I'm not saying we don't need any. I'm just saying like, especially like Netflix, like there's so many ones that they greenlit that we haven't even seen yet.
That's fair.
Like there's an Assassin's Creed one, a Devil May Cry one, like the Horizon one was one of them. Like they just keep doing
BioShock movie.
BioShock movie, the Metal Gear Solid one, more Halo stuff. Like
I heard Castlevania is pretty good though.
Castlevania is amazing.
Castlevania is
so is Arcane.
Yeah, Arcane's great.
I don't know how much of that
so
is.
So is the Cyberpunk anime.
And that's my thing is like I'm fine with these if they're good. You know, like if you make them and make them good, great. That's awesome. You know,
are those good because of Netflix or in spite of Netflix?
Yeah, that's the thing. Well, Netflix has only done good animated ones thus far because the live action Resident Evil show was awful. At least 2 episodes I watched. So yeah, I don't know. It's very interesting because there is a complaint around Horizon already before the games even came out that there are too many Horizon games, right? And it's like we've only gotten 3 of them, and the internet is already ablaze with Horizon complaints about that. You know, it's like they're ruining this franchise. You know, it's like the internet scuttlebutt around Horizon it baffles me. It really does. Like, people hate this fucking series. It seems
I don't
like, at
know
least
why.
on the internet, people fucking hate it, and I don't get it. I really don't. I think it's
Horizon's
awesome.
dope.
You don't have to love it, but I don't understand and it's really only like games media hate. It seems like
Yeah, it's just
it sells very well.
yeah, it does sell very well, at least. So I don't know. It's just crazy to me. It's that, like, this series has somehow become a joke on the internet already without even really doing anything wrong. You know, they've had 3 games thus far, and they've all been. So I know the VR game wasn't great, but like, no one played it anyway, so
Wasn't bad.
they don't even know. You know, and it's just I think it's just them potentially shoving Horizon down our throats is already getting so much hate, at least on the internet, you know. And of course, releasing the first one right next to Breath of the Wild and the second one right next to Elden Ring does not help. You know, there was already a joke around that right when they release, right? So it's like they kind of have it hard coming right out of the gate. Horizon always kind of has, but yeah, I don't know. It just amazes me whenever I see people talk about this series online. It's like people just fucking hate it, and so yeah, I think it's a good thing that this TV show is getting canceled for now. Shelve it for now. Only pick it back up when you guys find someone that is like dedicated to making a good Horizon show, you know, or you know, I really think they should make it animated as well, especially over at Netflix, because their CG is awful on majority of Netflix shows, unless it's Stranger Things. You know, Stranger Things is the only one that looks good on Netflix. Everything else just looks terrible. So it's like, unless Netflix is really gonna put money behind a live action Horizon TV show, I really don't want to see that. My dream scenario would be, I know the Arcane's coming out season 2. Let those guys do it, because I know season 2 is supposed to be the last season of Arcane, they said, which is unfortunate, but like, let those guys do it then afterwards. Have them hop over to another video game series, do Horizon.
Good idea.
When I think of was it supposed to be live action? Was it going to be live action?
I
It
don't
was
think
gonna be live action.
Do we? Okay.
Yeah.
If they were going to do that, they should have got Michael Bay and his team do that, because I'm like, if you want to do mechanical creatures or whatever, like, you have the Transformers for like template right there for that. You know what I mean? Like, I know it's not. I mean, I wasn't expecting Horizon to be like an Oscar nominated, you know, or what it would be. What's the TV equivalent? Emmy winning, whatever, like,
Sure.
Breaking Bad.
Mr. Show, whatever. Like, just lean into it and just make it what it's supposed to be. Just like spectacle, pure spectacle, and have like someone of like the Michael Bay caliber, of like the show, like a metal in a blender creature kind of thing, like that for Horizon. They could have done something like that, but
I'm actually
I
totally down with this. Let's just get a bunch of like just some bros running around with bow and arrow fighting robot dinosaurs. Like, I'm actually down for that. It's like cast The Rock and Channing Tatum. You know, was that Pain and Game movie? Was that Channing Tatum? I don't know who was in that, but you
That
know
was
what I'm
Mark
talking.
Wahlberg, wasn't it?
Mark Wahlberg. There you go.
Mark Wahlberg,
Yeah, just have them two running around. Give one of them an eye patch and a bow and arrow, and you know, just fucking have giant explosions and big robot dinosaurs. I'm actually down for that. Make it
yeah,
stupid.
yeah, exactly. Kind of just lean into it. Maybe like take it a little less serious and Uncharted, and, you know, just let people run loose with that whole world. And
So
but no, but yeah, you guys, I kind of echo the same thing with you guys, where like it's just maybe now's not the time. Like, I imagine for sure this is gonna be picked up again in the future by somebody else, some executive at Sony who's just has their heart set on making this into a project or something like that. Kind of just like how Fallout, like what's his name, Todd Howard said they had so many pitches from different studios to do something like Fallout related, and he said no to all of them until he found one that he really liked, which was the one we eventually got. So you have to imagine that it's going to be one of those things that they picked up eventually. I'm more concerned about. I don't know if it's still going to happen. I'm more concerned about a God of War adaptation. I don't know if they're still pursuing that or not. But
Yeah, that's
yeah,
supposed to
just
be Amazon.
okay. So yeah, okay. Amazon, they have a good track record with that kind of stuff. So shelve Horizon for now, and bring it back in 3 or 4 years or something.
Yeah, I'm with you on that end. Yeah, I just think, I don't know, Horizon needs something else. They need they really do kind of need a genre shift a little bit. You know, I know the Lego game's coming out, but it's like, you know, I would say put out the third Horizon game, and then you guys just got to shelve the whole thing for a while after that, because it's just like I said, the internet's scuttlebutt around this whole series right now is just really bad. You know, and it's like maybe it would be better by the time the third game actually comes out, which I would expect. I don't know when was 2022, right? So expect like 2027, 2028, right around then. So maybe it'll be a little bit better around then. And then I don't know. I would really just consider, if I'm PlayStation, consider shelving Horizon for a while, because you're gonna ruin this franchise.
You really think Horizon's that far away?
I mean, 5 years, I would guess, right? I mean, that's the typical AAA development time for big open world games nowadays, right? So, I mean, even more actually. You know,
Maybe more than that.
I mean, we're inching further away, not closer. You know, it's not games are taking more time to make,
Right.
not less. You know, so
But
I don't
I
know
feel like
any.
there's so much of the bones laid out with Horizon 2 and like the DLC. Like they can just add
Yeah, I get it.
even
You
more.
could build off that, but
Yeah.
it still takes forever. I mean,
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
look at Spider-Man 2. You know, they literally just used the entire map from one. That still took 5 years. I know they added a whole new section and stuff like that, but that still took 5 years. I mean, and it's everywhere too. I'm not just picking on PlayStation here. Every development studio is taking 5 years or more to make big AAA games. You know.
Yeah.
So okay, so let's see. That was what 2022 when Horizon came out. So like in 3 years, maybe 3 4 years.
Yeah, 27. I'd say we get Horizon 3 like end of generation type of thing, end of PS5 then.
That'd be a great way to close it out. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Let's continue on then. Fun world of Embracer. Embracer has shut down yet another studio. This time, the studio Piranha Bytes has been completely shut down. Luckily, the former studio heads have already formed a new team called the Pithead Studio. They will pick up the mantle where they left off and continue making RPGs over there. Guys, I'm not familiar with this studio at all, but yet again, Embracer shutting down more studios. They are got a hell of a track record here, you know, just shutting down shit left and right. No one could have saw this coming. Who would have guessed that, you know, Embracer buying up 200 studios at a time would have gone bad? No one could have foreseen that. Daniel, how you feeling about the great
Yeah,
Embracer?
at least with this story, they they kind of just made their own studio. You know, it wasn't like completely dissolved. That's at least somewhat of a good feel. You know.
Yeah,
Um,
I would add too. I read through the article. They tried to sell off the studio, but there were no buyers, so they had to completely shut them down. Apparently.
yeah, they're somewhere in Europe. I don't remember.
Germany.
They're in Germany. Okay.
I'm looking right now because I'm like, what games do they make? They
Yeah,
make
I know Elix
RPGs.
was the big one and two.
I've never. Okay, so Gothic. I've heard of the Gothic series, but I've never played
Yeah,
any of
that
them.
was like old, like 2000 stuff. And then
Arcania.
yeah, Elix has been their new series. The second one just came out just like a few years ago.
I haven't played any of these. I'm not familiar. Like quote Shack. I'm not familiar with their game at all.
Yeah, it does seem like they make more niche RPGs type of thing. So
Yeah,
yeah, not necessarily something
very
I'm
kind of
familiar with either.
European
Yeah,
RPGs.
just
They're like Spider a little
Spider.
bit.
Who's Spider?
They did like Greedfall
Oh, okay.
and what was the other game?
What did it mean?
Technomancer.
Oh,
There's
okay.
like
Those
another
kind.
one.
Okay.
Yeah, they're kind of that like European RPG, kind of like double A European RPG studio.
Okay. I think Technomancer is more of a. It's like a soul. Like. Yeah, I'm looking. I was looking at the games like Gothic. Like I've heard. Like these are games I've heard like in the background, like just vaguely, and I'm like, okay, like yeah, that kind of looks familiar, but yeah, I have no firsthand experience with any games.
Yeah, I think the main point here is just Embracer, just
Embrace.
just making horrible decisions left and right, and developers are paying the cost now. You know, and it's very unfortunate. It sucks to see. I mean, I think this year there's already been more layoffs than all of 2023, which is crazy because there was like a record high number of layoffs in 2023. So
We're only
yeah,
halfway through the
it's
year.
yeah, I'm only halfway through the year. So yeah, it's a horrible time to be a game developer. I feel for them.
Well, pretty much anything tech related too, because we've seen that in
Yeah.
big,
Yeah.
like what are they called? The big top five? I forgot what they're called. Something companies, but you've seen that with Google, Microsoft, other big tech.
Amazon.
Yeah, I forget that there's a name for them. It's like an acronym, but anything tech related, really, you're kind of seeing the highs of COVID in terms of like remote work and everything, and now it's just kind of just like dipping off. So sucks, man.
Sucks indeed. Next up, then. It seems the next Bioshock game is finally ramping up in development as the team over at Cloud Chamber are now, quote, recruiting like mad for the next Bioshock game. Guys, here we go. Finally getting a little bit of Bioshock news here. Seems like I don't know. To me, this has seemed like they've gone through some trouble actually nailing down what they want the next Bioshock game to be here, because this team was formed a while ago now. I think I read this team was formed at the end of 2019, so it's already been 5 years. And I think they've probably had a small team over there constantly working on it the last 5 years, and they just kind of had trouble nailing down what exactly they want this new thing to be and what direction they want to go in exactly. And now I think they finally figured it out, hopefully, with the ramp up in hiring.
That was exactly my thought of seeing
Yeah.
this. I was like,
Yeah.
I think they finally figured out what they want the game to be.
Yeah. Now they're like full force. Let's go.
Yeah.
We can make this now. We have a vision, right? It's that's my hope, at least, right? It's because I really want a new Bioshock game, and I want to be excited for it, and I want it to be good. And I think too, they're lucky they're owned by 2K, right? Because they have 2K owns Ken Levine's team. Who's making essentially a Bioshock game, it seems, with Judas, right? Or at least a spiritual successor to. So I think 2K was probably like, no, you guys take all the time you need. We got Judas cooking, so that'll be out way before the next Bioshock game, anyways. And then you guys can take as long as you need to get this Bioshock game right.
Is Ken Levine's team the one that he's leading for Judas? Are they also under 2K?
They are still owned by 2K.
Oh, I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
So when Irrational Games got they disbanded Ken Levine's old team, the team that originally made Bioshock. Ken Levine, they immediately picked up Ken Levine, and they were just like, no, you take a small team and you go make whatever the hell you want. And that literally took like over 10 years now, when it was Bioshock Infinite, 2013. So yeah, that took forever. But and he has an incredibly small team over there making Judas. So yeah, it's yeah, they are still under 2K.
I had no idea. That's interesting. I don't have much experience with Bioshock. I have like the 2-pack, or what is it? No, I have the trilogy. It's like on PS4.
Collection.
Yeah.
Somewhere over there. But I have like very little experience with Bioshock at all. I think I started like the first game, and 3 hours in I got distracted by other stuff, and I just never returned to it. But I understand it's like a very beloved. I know there's like a whole meme about Would You Kindly, and that's all. That's the extension of my knowledge of Bioshock. One of those series. It's one of those series that I know is huge that I just need to get back to. But
Do you not know the twist? Because if you don't know the twist, you need to go play
I just
Bioshock.
know it has to do with that phrase. That's
Okay,
all I know.
okay.
It has to do with that phrase.
Okay, go play
And-
Bioshock.
Yeah,
I got
should.
Bioshock poster.
I heard the second one's like all right, and then people are very conflicted about the third one for some reason. Like there's people who
The second one's underrated. I think it's.
Is that what
I think
it is?
the gameplay is pretty fun.
The second one, the whole thing people don't like is because it's not made by Ken Levine. It's that was a different team at the time. That was kind of just a Take-Two being like, hey, we need to cash in on this, and they quickly made a Bioshock 2.
It's a good game. The
It is.
third one's awesome. The third one's really good. I think people love to. Me and Connor talk about this all the time. People love to rewrite history and talk about. Oh, I thought this about this game. It's like, no, you didn't. People loved Halo 4 when it came out. That's always my example. Halo 4 was incredibly well received. Had its criticism, especially the multiplayer. But then now, if you talk about Halo, like, 343's never made a good Halo game. Oh, okay. Cool.
Oh, it's some kind of like revisionist history or
Mhm.
something.
Yeah, revisionism happens all the time, and that's definitely what's happening with Bioshock Infinite. Like that
Oh.
game was talked about as a game of the year, maybe over Last of Us. It was like one of the other in 2013, and it's like now it's like, oh, that game isn't very good. Okay, sure.
Do people really not consider Infinite that good anymore?
No, not
Really?
anymore.
Huh.
Yeah.
I think. I mean, I know there's complaints with some of the gameplay elements there, and some of the storylines feel a bit unfinished in that game, and that was because Ken had to cut certain things out just to get the game out on time. So yeah, I can see the complaints. I love Bioshock Infinite personally. I like Infinite's probably my favorite one. It's an incredible game. But yeah, this Bioshock game, there's a lot of people that used to work at Irrational on this team, so I have my hopes high for it. I think you could make a very good Bioshock game. I don't know though. It's how much of a cost sink is this for Take-Two, or 2K? I don't know why I keep saying that. Take-Two, 2K. Why do they do that? It's so confusing. So
What's the one, the super massive or super giant?
Yeah. Like, why are you guys both?
And then there's also Massive.
Oh
There
my
you go.
God.
Yeah.
It's so confusing. It's just I don't think Bioshock is necessarily going to be the thing that comes out and sells 20 million copies. Ever. You could make a 10 out of 10 Bioshock game. I don't think it's necessarily going to sell a shit ton of copies, So, what's Take Two expecting here would be a big question for me because they've already put 5 years of development time into this with a small team. That's certainly been a cost sink for them. And if they're just ramping up now, I would expect another 3-4 years before this game comes out, maybe, depending on how far along they are. So you're looking at a 10-year development time almost. Is that worth it for a Bioshock game that's probably going to sell, I don't know, if it's good, 10 million copies, if I had to guess? Which is a great number, right? But is that worth it?
Good question.
Yeah, interesting question. So, I don't know. Hopefully we see a trailer for it sometime soon. I don't imagine this year, but maybe next year. Our last news story then. The video game Circana numbers for the month of May have finally come out. I know it got delayed because of the holiday, so it was took a while. But here we are. We're already like mid-July and we just got the May numbers. It's weird. So we will go through the entire top 20 of the month of May. Starting with number 20. Dragon's Dogma 2. It was number 7 the month before. I think that's pretty high up there still I think it's the third highest selling game of the year. It's really good for Capcom. Continuing on then 19 Mortal Kombat 1, 18 FF24 or no F1 24, which I think is the racing games, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Formula
1. Number 17 Rise of Ronin, number 16 Madden NFL 24, number 15 Mario Kart 8, number 14 new one Homeworld 3. Getting up there.
Mario Kart 8 still on there?
Oh, every month, bud. It doesn't stop. It doesn't stop.
It every month.
Every month you gotta mention Mario Kart 8. It's incredible. You don't even see GTA on here, but you see Mario Kart 8 month after month. It's incredible.
Like, who doesn't have it at this point? Who actually wants it?
I don't know. They sell a new Switch and then they sell Mario Kart. Yep. Number 13, Marvel Spider-Man 2. Number 12, EA Sports FC 24. Number 11, Fallout 4. Still kicking.
Nice.
It was number 5 the month before that. So that show was a huge boost. And then the next gen version, obviously. Number 10, Stellar Blade. Number 9, Hogwarts Legacy. Number 8, Elden Ring. Got back up there. People preparing for that DLC back in May. Number 7, Minecraft. Number 6, Sea of Thieves. Number 5, MLB The Show 24. Number 4, Helldivers 2. Number 3, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. Number 2, new one, Paper Mario and the Thousand-Year Door. Getting up there. Good for Nintendo. Probably the biggest release of the year thus far, unless I'm missing something. I know there's
for them.
Yeah, for them, yeah.
I mean, there's RPG. I know that was last year. That was
last year. There was that Donkey Kong one.
Yeah, Mario versus Donkey Kong.
Oh, Princess Peach.
Princess Peach.
Yeah.
That's probably. I think that's their only other 2 games so far.
And then your number 1 game for the month of May, Ghost of Tsushima, coming up from number 71 the month before, that PC release.
PC and probably PlayStation sale at the same time. They'll probably hit like a synergy, I would assume.
Yeah. Absolutely insane that a 4-year-old game at this point it hits the number 1 for the month of May. I know May was a very slow month. They didn't hit number 1, but they were up there, right?
If Fallout not hit 1, what was 1 in last?
1 in April was Stellar Blade.
Oh, Stellar Blade, that's right.
Yeah.
And Fallout 4 was 2.
I don't remember exactly, but yeah, it was up there. I mean, there were multiple Fallout games last month up there.
Mm-hmm.
There's 76 and all that. Just because
okay, I was wondering. I was like, why did only 4 get the boost? I'm like, I feel like 76.
76 got a big boost too. Yeah.
Okay.
But 76 does 76 have a free to play mode?
I don't think so.
No. Okay.
No, you have to buy the game.
You do? Okay. Interesting. But yeah, Ghost of Tsushima number 1. Pretty crazy for a 4-year-old game. PC boost. I'm still very curious. I really want PlayStation to put out one of their big AAA, typical PlayStation third-person action games out on PC on day 1, just to see. Like, they gotta experiment with that, Like, put Ghost of Tsushima 2 out day 1 on PC. Let's just see what that does.
I think they have to experiment at some point because I think that they are seeing, and this is not always the case, because I think they didn't make Helldivers 2, but they published it. But like, I think they're definitely seeing that the PlayStation prestige, in quotes, like, doesn't really matter to the PC audience very much. Mm-hmm. They kind of play their own games. So like when Uncharted, like, I don't understand why they did what they did with Uncharted. They put 4 out in that Legacy collection. It's like PC audience hasn't even played 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think? You expect them just to jump with 4? Like that's odd. it just seems like not all their stuff are really popping like I think they want it to. So yeah, I don't know. I think they do need to test the water to see if does this audience just not really care about the things that we're being known for.
But does this show them that they kind of do? You know, because it's interesting to me with Ghost of Tsushima, especially. It's that game is very that is the exact opposite on the internet of what we were talking about with Horizon. To me, is like Horizon's a joke on the internet. Ghost of Tsushima is beloved on the internet, which I'm always fascinated by. You know,
it's funny because Horizon reviewed well and reviewed better and sold better.
Right. And like people love Ghost of Tsushima, like you know, like that really has a lot of people's attention on the internet, and I just I'm always like fascinated by that because like I liked Ghost of Tsushima, don't get me wrong, but I've played a million games like Ghost of Tsushima before, you know. I didn't think there was anything all that special about it. I didn't think from a storytelling perspective it was that good. Gameplay perspective, it was good, but it didn't blow me away or anything. And so the way people talk about Ghost of Tsushima is how I feel about Horizon. You know, it's like, oh, dude, here's this awesome new IP that is so cool and badass, and I can't wait to get more of. It seems like a lot of people just feel that way about Ghost.
I think maybe it could also just be that we don't have as much Ghost of Tsushima. Really, I mean, we got the regular game, then we got that really cool like multiplayer side. I forgot what it was called. It was like the more supernatural multiplayer
Legends.
Yeah. That sounds right. And I feel like we just haven't gotten that much of that. But also, like you said, like how it doesn't do anything amazing, but also it doesn't do anything bad either. Like no one, there's nothing really to complain about the game. I mean, it's just really, it's just good. It's great. Good between good and great. And I think it's one of those things that it's like maybe I'm reading too much into it, but I feel like there's less complaints about that because I think Horizon's easier to pick apart. People have issues with Aloy, the way she changes, you know, visually from game to game, or you know, there's more social critique, I guess you can make about it as compared to Ghost of Tsushima, which is like historic. It's 100% historically accurate, but it's like there's a basis for like the Mongol invasion, and all that, and like there's just less cracks in the armor of Ghost of Tsushima. I think for people, that's why it's not a target for like harassment really compared to like Horizon, you know. So I think that kind of helps it. That kind of helps it go a long way, I think.
Yeah, I mean it's new. It's a new IP. I know the Horizon isn't like, you know, has that many games in it, but it's at least Ghost is new right now as compared to Forbidden West. You know,
I wonder if you guys hear me?
Yeah. Now we can.
I can. I wonder if the second one does worse, considering how much the samurai open world games have picked up. Right, like we got Rise of the Ronin, we're getting Assassin's Creed Shadows, we got some other ones in between the release of Ghost 1 and Ghost 2. Right, I wonder if it does a little bit worse then. You know, maybe I just kind of am like, you know, I'm kind of meh on a Ghost of Tsushima 2 just because of that, right? Like we're getting so many samurai open world games right now.
If it launches on PC, then I would say it'll probably do better.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, but if it's only console, like if we live in that world,
like are we in a world now where Ghost of Tsushima is a console seller? You know, like are we that? Because the way people talk about it say like, but like I don't know, does that actually translate to sales? You know.
No, I think
if Ghost is like what you say 8 million or whatever, let's just say like 10 million, whatever, right around there. Does it sell more than that at this point? I don't know.
I don't know if they'll put it out. Because is somebody still doing that weird thing where they want to put the first game on PC for every series, but then they want people to go to the console for like the rest of the.
Yeah, but they didn't with Uncharted.
Yeah, that's like the reverse, right? It's like what you want them to go to console to find out what happened up to this point. Like it's weird. I don't know if they will do like a day one for PC. I mean, none of us really know, but is that something that's likely to happen? I don't think they've been moved. Well, maybe with Helldivers, right? Well, yeah, but it's a multiplayer game that kind of
matters. They didn't really. They technically didn't make it themselves. They just kind of funded it.
Yeah, so I don't know. That's a really good question. I don't see them putting it day one on PC because they're not that smart. I think.
The strategy right now seems to be we're putting the multiplayer games out day one on PC, and then the single player games will come much later.
Yeah,
I just think they
Concord.
need to try it with one of the main single player games, and Ghost 2 would
Well,
be the one to
well,
try
maybe
it with. I
Probably
think.
the most the one that's probably going to come up the quickest too.
Right.
well, they did do that multiplayer side stuff. They might maybe, that might be shoehorned in into this into the game into the second game. Who knows?
Yeah, it's a good point. All right, cool. Well, that's gonna do it for the news of the week, guys. Can I move on to what we've been playing? Andrew, start with you, bud. What you've been playing?
Since its release on 4th of July, I've been playing Zenless Zone Zero,
Ooh.
which is the new Hoyoverse game from those people who do Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Rail. I was too late for Genshin Impact. That game really hit its stride like when I was really not interested in it. When I finally got interested, like the game was like already a year and a half old, and I felt like not like old game old, but like I missed the zeitgeist, right? I missed it when everybody was like on it. And I was like, it seems a little too late. And then Honkai Star Rail, I kind of want to try that one, but that one didn't. That one came on PC first, and then didn't come to console till like 8 months later. And like Dan knows, I prefer playing on console almost all the time, so I was like, I'm not gonna play that. But this one came out on PS5 and on PC the same day, July 4th, and I haven't really played a lot of like the gotcha mechanic games. Really, that's not really my thing. But there's something about the aesthetic and like the style of the characters that. So, like for example, Genshin Impact is very fantasy. Honkai Star Rail is very sci-fi, and this one, Zenless Zone Zero, is very like urban street punk kind of. It has like a very urban kind of punk aesthetic going on with like you're like running around on the streets and stuff. So it just appealed to me, and I'm enjoying it so far. But it does have those like telltale marks of like a gotcha game where like the very early stages of the game are super easy. You don't have to really manage your resources because they're just constantly throwing resources at you like every hour or so. And I'm at the point now. I'm about 12 hours in. Because I'm working towards the plat. I'm trying to see if I can get the platinum trophy because there's a platinum trophy for it, and I'm about 35% of the way through the trophies, and I'm starting to get to the point now where like just button mashing isn't enough, like it was for the first 10 hours of the game, and so like the gotcha mechanics they're like pretty like, in terms of like you gotta get certain like currency in the game to then roll for like new characters or new like equipment for your characters, and I have like more than half of the available characters like from the initial release of the game so far. But now it's starting to get to the point where like, okay, they're giving you less and less of those materials and less of the currency. Now you're not have to work. And like this is the point where like they want to see like can we get money out of our player now? Like and I'm like, nope, I'm more patient than that. I looked at the trophies, I'm like, do I have to spend money? And like all the trophies are obtainable without having to like, have a massive roster of characters. So I'm like, okay, I think I can at least do that, and I'm enjoying it now more than I did the first few hours because it was just very painfully easy and kind of just I was clicking through dialogue. Now the story is actually getting interesting. Now there's reason for me to pay attention to the individual like arcs of the characters and stuff. And yeah, so I've mostly been playing that. I was actually I was playing that before I even jumped on today right now with you guys. So getting my dailies in, doing the dailies, like I was like shaking his head, but like yeah, so like I don't really have a lot of people. Well, a lot of people in our space, right, of gamers, right. There's you usually have one game in the background that you just play, like it's like your MMO, your Call of Duty, maybe, or like whatever it is for that year.
Destiny.
Destiny, yeah, Destiny. If that's like your thing, right? Like you have that one game that's like perpetually in the background of your mind, and I feel like this is kind of going to be like that for me, and yeah, I'm enjoying it. I'm pretty much just playing it. I think the next thing I'm excited for is probably Star Wars Outlaws. Like that's like the game for me on the horizon of what I'm looking forward to. But like I'm enjoying my time. If it gets egregious or it starts to slow down, then I'm probably gonna put it away until the next major like version 1 point whatever when they add new content to the game. There's like 3 story chapters, and my understanding is they're gonna add like each time they do like a new addition or expansion, it's like another story chapter kind of thing. So it's not turn based. Honkai Star Rail's turn based. This is much a little closer to Genshin, where it's very action. It's very action RPG. Very the characters like attack very quickly. You're encouraged to constantly cycle out your characters. Like you'll go into a dungeon and you have up to 3 playable characters with you, and you're encouraged to oh, this enemy is weak against this element. Let me switch to that character who has like that elemental affinity, right? And you're encouraged to kind of like swap out, like you have your DPS, like your main attackers. You have another one that does like stats or like support stuff like that. Very traditional RPG kind of stuff. So yeah, that's mostly what I've been playing right now.
Oh yeah, is that the one where you swing around like Spider-Man? I think I asked this
Mm-mm.
last week. No, this is that one. Okay, I don't know what I'm
I
thinking
don't
of
even know
then.
the name of that game.
Yeah, okay, it's like the same company though, right?
I don't
Is
think
it?
so.
No, okay, I don't know. I don't know what I'm thinking of then.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. It's
Yeah,
not.
you're like some Japanese schoolgirl and you're swinging around the city like
I think it was
Spider-Man.
shown off at like the Keeleys like 2 years
Yeah,
ago or
yeah, yeah,
something.
yeah. That's one
Like
I'm
the
looking
Summer
forward
Games
to.
Fest 2 years ago.
Give me that
Yeah.
one. I'll be a little girl
Is it?
swinging around like Spider-Man.
Is it Dokev? Dokev, whatever that game was
No,
called.
not DokeV.
Oh, I
That
don't
game
have.
This
doesn't
game's
exist.
confusing. This game scare me. Uh,
DokeV's not a real game.
Daniel, what you been playing, bud?
Um, so I kind of fell off of Link's Awakening. I really adore that game, but it's just not. It was just not clicking fully. But I love so much about that game. So I was trying to find something that that I had downloaded and been looking to play. So uh, I've been playing Dark Souls 3. I think I'm like 15 hours in,
Oh yeah,
um, which is a lot for me.
Is that the
Um,
one with the giant lady laying down?
no,
got a
that's
big
Dark
girl
Souls
in there.
1.
That's what?
It's Dark Souls 1
Oh, okay, never mind.
with Gwendolyn.
I was gonna say that's Resident Evil 8.
No, no, no. See, Connor, she's not. She's laying down on top of you in that one.
Yeah, God, what a game.
um, so yeah, I'm like 15 hours or so in. I've beaten. So there's like 4 lords again. Um, I've beaten the first one. I think I'm on the second one, but it's sometimes it's kind of hard to tell if they're like a lord of Cinder that you need to kill. I can't remember the one what the 4 are. So I'm at a boss now. It's actually cool. The area that I'm in is it's like a callback to Dark Souls 1. So if you played Dark Souls 1, um, kind of like the halfway point of that game, you go to Anne Orlando, that really like beautiful area. Um, I am in Anne Orlando right now, and it's like definitely a little different. It's definitely slightly more rundown, but it has like a similar layout. And I'm pretty sure the boss that I'm in, like the arena, is the same arena as, or like supposed to like mimic the same arena as Ornstein and Smo, who are like really famous bosses in Dark Souls 1. I don't know if you remember them, Connor. It seems like Andrew. It seems like you remember
I've heard.
Ornstein and Smo.
I've never played it, but I know exactly what you're talking about because I. It's just like one of those.
Yeah, one of
Again,
the hardest bosses.
yeah, I
Yeah,
hear about.
Connor, if you don't know Ornstein and Smo, it's like one of the first times that they did like big guy and little guy.
Mm,
So if you've seen the big dude with the big
the
old hammer,
old
big
big
fat
guy and
guy,
little guy.
and then the little guy is like a spear and he's fast.
It's
So
Mm.
like the Godskin duo kind of.
Oh God, fuck that.
it's a little different because you're that with Godskin, if you have to kill them multiple times. This one's just like they have their own health
Uh,
bar. Um, but yeah, the arena that I'm in for the boss that I'm fighting now is like in the same type of arena. It's just more decrepit as the Ornstein and Smo arena, um, which is pretty cool to have that kind of callback. And I'm sure like story reasons, like they're gonna talk about why Anne Orlando's here and stuff. Um, yeah, I fought that boss a couple of times. I forget her name, like Aldrich or something like that is her name. She's like this like necrotic wizard looking lady with a bow. Um, so far I haven't really hit that many walls. Like the last boss that I fought was probably the biggest wall I hit. His name was like Pontiff something. I can't remember his name. He had like 2 swords. One was like a purplish dark sword, and then one was fire. And he did like multiple attacks and stuff. He was pretty tough. But this lady, she's really tough. She's just really distance. So like my build's just big sword, hit you hard, and I gotta like get right in her face to try to hit her. So it's tough. Like she does the bow attack. She does like she pretty much like shoots it straight up, and then like it fans out in front of her. So like me trying to run up to her, sometimes she'll get me with that. She has this like when she like moves across the arena, she like goes into like a portal into the ground, and it explodes. That one's got me. It's killed me multiple times. Um, she's very projectile heavy. She has this like magic missile that she'll do. It's like these purple little things that just go right at you, and I hate it. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it so far. Um, it just feels really good to play. Like it feels and looks a lot like Dark Souls 1, but it just feels a little smoother. They're kind of perfecting that model here. Obviously, they fully perfect the more Dark Souls feel in Elden Ring, but like it feels real good in this game.
When did
Are
this
the
one come out? Was it 2017, 16?
16. So
16.
this was
Okay.
like right when they had like a back to back to back run. They did Dark Souls 2 in 2014, Bloodborne in 2015, and then Dark Souls 3 in 2016.
Hell of a run. Jesus.
Yeah. And like I know that Dark Souls 2 is like it's not as good, but it's still like a great game. And people really there's
Yeah,
some
why'd you go
diehard
3 and
fans.
not 2?
I tried to for like a couple hours,
Uh-huh.
and there's like a mechanic with the health that just I'm sure there are ways around it, and I just don't like it. It's so there's like a even a worse thing that happens when you die in Dark Souls 2 compared to like regular Dark Souls. Like regular
like
Dark
it's
Souls,
like Demon Souls.
yeah, from what I can tell, it is more like Demon Souls, but I haven't played Demon Souls. Um,
In Demon Souls,
so
like if you die, like you come back with half your max HP and like
it's not quite half, but there is a same indicator. It's goes down. I'm like I'm not about that
Did you
really.
really? I don't even remember that. I beat Demon Souls. Yeah.
I don't know if they had I don't know if they kept it in the
Yeah, maybe it
PS5
wasn't in
version,
the remake. Yeah.
but it was definitely a thing in the original PS3 version.
Oh, okay. That sounds fucking
But
annoying.
yeah, that's yeah. It's annoying in Dark Souls too, and I was like, I'm just as interesting as interested as I am in this game and seeing this one in particular, like Dark Souls 2, because it like has very like I know that from software fans are like hardcore already, but like the Dark Souls 2 fans are like because it's like the worst of the franchise of all of them.
Yeah, I always hear that. Yeah.
So it's like the fans of Dark Souls 2 are like super fans. It's like I wanted to try to experience that more,
Like,
but
you don't
just
get it, man. You don't get it,
yeah.
man.
So just that health mechanic just didn't click. So I'm like, all right. I played like a couple hours of Dark Souls 3 right around when it came out. And then I forget what I was playing. I think it was Overwatch or something. I'm like, I don't got time for this. Um so yeah. And just really enjoying my time with it right now.
Sweet.
Which one's the one I have? I don't know which one the one I have. I know it's the one I bought it on PSN when it was like $5 like years ago, but it was like on a sale. Which one's the one? It's called. It has like the subtitle "Scholars or Sins of Scholar of the First
Scholar of the
Sin."
First Sin.
Which
That's
one's that
that's
one?
Dark Souls 2.
Oh boy. Oh, okay. Never
What is
mind.
that? Just like the Game of the Year edition type thing?
Yeah, they had
Yeah.
a DLC,
Okay.
and
Mm.
that's like the combined thing. And Dark Souls 3 has I think two expansions. It's like Ashes of Arendelle in the Ring City. And like I've already seen actually there was a dude that I talked to. He's like an old man, like kind of like bowing to like in a cathedral. And like I talked to him and he was like he said something about Arendelle, and I'm like, oh wait, I think that's the DLC. And he like pulled out this piece of paper and he was like, touch this. So I went ahead with the cutscene and it like transported me there. So it's like I have a bonfire already, I think, for that DLC. I haven't seen the Ring City DLC. I think Arendelle is a little bit shorter. I think the Ring City is a little bit bigger, but I haven't seen where that's at. Because they're usually From's really weird with their DLC and how you access it. Like I played Bloodborne, and it's like an item you have to like put down and use or something, and then it takes
Mm.
you. Um, because like in that one, it's like a different. It's like a nightmare you're going to. Um, yeah, and I guess even Elden Ring is different. Like you can't just launch it from the start screen.
Yeah,
Like you have
yeah.
to like beat a certain amount of bosses, and then you like go and like do it. Dark Souls 1 is interesting too, because like they don't tell you where to go for it, and there's like a portal that you have to like. There's this like big Hydra thing in Dark Souls 1, and it's like in that lake area. You kind of have to run along the side and go and touch, and you get like pulled into a portal. It's like you would
I love
never.
that FromSoft has the balls for this
Yeah,
because normally developers try to make it as easy as possible to access their
it's
DLC.
content you're paying for.
These guys are like, nah, you got to beat like 75% of the game and then go find some obscure thing to touch and we'll teleport you there.
Like it's not just
Yeah.
straight from the menu or something.
Nah, yeah, we ain't doing all that.
Yeah, you paid $40 for this DLC. Go beat 2 of the bosses first.
Yeah, that's great. You could play it in 80 hours. We'll see you then.
Wild.
Speaking of FromSoft for DLC, I've beaten Shadow of the Erdtree. I needed to summon someone in to beat that last boss because he was fucking hard. He was hard, and then me and that guy just double teamed him, and then that was pretty easy. So I had a good time doing that. Yeah, I know. I think I was at the last boss last week already. So yeah, I don't have too much more to add on it. Yeah, I loved the look of the last boss. Didn't really necessarily love fighting him that much. I'm trying to think who my favorite boss was. I love the Mesamir guy. I think his name was.
Yeah, the guy in the cover.
Yeah, the guy in the cover. You saw him in the trailers for Shadow of the Erdtree. He summons a giant snake in, or he doesn't summon him, but like I don't know, a giant snake pops out of his back at some point, and it's really scary. He looked really cool.
From like my perspective, not playing, but like seeing all the bosses, I think my favorite like looking was was it Relana?
Oh, the two blades, whatever her name.
Lady?
Yeah, the dancing lady.
Really cool.
Yeah, she did look really cool to fight. Yeah, her glowing blades looked really cool.
Yeah.
My favorite boss was probably, I think it was called Sanctree Avatar or something like that. Sanctree? I can't remember his name. But he was just like a giant sunflower, I guess. But the cool thing about him was, yeah, you had to fight him 3 times because he just respawned 3 times. He just like, you would kill one version and then he would pop up out the ground another one, and you'd be like, oh fuck, there's another one. And then it was funny because I finally beat the second one, and I was like, oh, that's it, it's over, I beat him. And then I see a rumbling in the ground, and I'm like, no, there can't be, there can't be. It's like, no, there's a third one. But the cool thing about him is when you beat the first one, he would like lay down for a second, and then you can go up and get a critical hit like right on the top of his sunflower, and you like stab in the middle of that, like a cool animation happens, and then the next time he respawned, a quarter of his health would be gone, and then you do it again, and another quarter of his health would be gone for the third one. So there's a cool little trick there to make it a little bit easier, and I had a good time with that boss. So that was probably my favorite boss, the one I had like the most epic journey with throughout my experience with it. Yeah, I really enjoyed the DLC. Had a good time with it. Had my fill of Souls games for the year, I think, because I tried to pop into Sekiro after because I was like, all right, I'm in the mood. Let's do this. And then I got to like the first boss in Sekiro, and I was like, you know what, I'm not in the mood anymore. So
you got humbled right away, or what?
Yeah, pretty much right away. Sekiro seems really fun. I really do want to get to it at some point. It seems like my style too, because I really do like to just do swordplay when I'm playing these Souls games, you know. And it seems like you can only do that in Sekiro. So at some point, I definitely got to get to Sekiro and play through that whole thing. Are there? Oh yeah. There's some weird mechanics with his arm.
Like
I love the grappling hook was really cool. So yeah, Sekiro seemed like really cool to me. That'll probably be a next year thing. I think I'm gonna push that one off for a little while, and but I will get to it.
But Elden Ring 2's next year.
That'd be hilarious. Do you think they'll make Elden Ring 2 right away? By the way,
I hope so.
It'll be 2025.
Yeah, I think someone was.
I'm sorry, 2026. It'll be 2026.
Yeah. I think it was Dustin and Brad were talking about it on Sacred Symbols or one of the shows there, Summon Signs maybe. And I think they kind of convinced me that they're not going to make Elden Ring 2 right away.
I mean, I don't think that, especially lore-wise, from what I can tell, it's like they pretty much did everything they need to do in this one. But I guess you could say the same thing with.
Isn't Dark Souls? Yeah, isn't Dark Souls like hundreds of years later though, or whatever? In each entry.
I mean, Dark Souls 3 does connect.
So I mean, you could easily do that, right?
Yeah, so I think that they can easily connect it.
I think they kind of sold me on the idea of like, no, they're gonna go back to something smaller and probably make another new IP, and then they'll go back to Elden Ring in like a decade or whatever. Yeah, I know, but so the Armor Core team just wrapped up. So
yeah,
I guess the main team would be next, right?
yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm very curious to see what they do next. We gotta get going here, but real quick, I beat that Still Weeks the Deep game. I know I talked about that a lot last week. Finished that up. Awesome game. Check it out if you got the time. It's only like 4 hours, 4 or 5 hours. So if you got time for that, you like your walking simulators. I think last week I was listening back to that episode. I said it's a horror game too much. Like it is not. I know I related it to Resident Evil 7, and there are parts of it that are like that, like the whole hiding from the monster type of thing, hiding lockers, hiding crawl spaces, and stuff like that. There are parts of it that are like that, but it is not like a full-fledged horror game. It is much more of a thriller than I think I led on last week, so I just want to make that clear. What else have I been playing? I've been playing more Red Dead Redemption. I'm still trying to go for the platinum on that. I almost 100% in Red Dead 1, and then I can move on to Undead Nightmare, and I'll probably do that sometime within the next month. I don't know when. I had to get a horseshoe achievement on that game, by the way, and that was way harder than the last boss.
The mini game.
Yeah. The horse. You had to get a ringer. It's called where the horseshoe wraps around the little fucking pole. That was harder than the last boss in Elden Ring DLC. That was 100% harder than the Shadow of the Erd Tree DLC. 100%.
Is that luck based or is it skill based?
A little bit of both. It seemed. It like I hit the fucking thing so many times with the horseshoe. And I heard the little ding. Because the little metal bounces off of it, and it just didn't wrap around it, and it took me so fucking long. The things you do for a platinum trophy, you sit there for fucking hours throwing a fucking horseshoe there. It's great.
My first decree is gonna be oh yeah. The knife.
Dude, the 5-figure. Oh man, that was hard. Yeah. That was hard.
my first degree, I'm gonna get rid of trophies and achievements.
You're just a horrible person. Horrible person.
I'm gonna cancel all that kind of stuff. We don't need that,
sir.
What's the name? Said that too. Was it? I forget his name. Khalif? Is that his name? I forget his name. I forgot his name. He's one of the guys that's kind of funny adjacent. Not Paris Lily, but the other. Yeah, he said the same thing too. He's like, oh, they should just. He's like, hot take. They should just get rid of achievements, trophies, and he just got like bodied by everybody online.
Yeah, they don't need to exist.
You don't need to exist. Why?
Right.
They're so fun. And they add enjoyment to the game and time to the game for no cost to anyone at all.
The developer should put some incentive in the game.
What do you mean?
Like Nintendo has like things that'll you got 100% this little place or whatever, 100% get all the stars.
There's still games that do that. That's just a game by game basis though.
There's some cool ones though. Like if you played the Kingdom Hearts, what was it 2.5 HD on PS3 or 4? I forgot which one, but like if you got like certain ones, you would unlock like wallpapers for like the
PS4
background.
Yeah,
they should do stuff like that. Like, here's an avatar. I don't know if they still do that anymore. If people even use avatars anymore.
God of War, you get the platinum trophy. You get the little special avatar.
Oh, you see,
I do love shit like that. Yeah,
like it doesn't have to be like substantive or substantial. I mean, it could be like something cute you can show off, not just in the trophy list. Just like, oh, here's I have this background or whatever. I don't know.
And then last thing, real quick, I'm playing Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door. I just started it, so I don't got too much to say yet. I'll talk about it more next week, but really fun so far. Very cute art style. How the fuck they come up with Paper Mario? Like what was the blunt rotation like there? They're just like, hey, what if Mario was paper? All right, guys, that's gonna do it for the Nerdic Gods podcast, episode 230. Thank you all so much for watching. Please remember to subscribe to us over at youtube.com/Nerdic Gods. Andrew, thank you so much for joining us. I think you were on a couple weeks ago, so you're on a roll here. Welcome back anytime.
Thanks. I always have a good time, so I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem, man. Anything else you guys want to say before we go?
Stay hydrated. It's hot out there.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Keep on rocking in the free world. We'll see you guys next week. Bye, everybody.
Everybody.